Okay guys, so we are going to get into 7-1. Okay, could be 7-1. If you're in Algebra 2, it's probably something else. Okay? But it's adding and subtracting polynomials. Okay, so first we're going to talk about what these polynomials are. Okay, and they talk about a monomial first, and a monomial is a number, a variable, or the product of a number in one or more variables. Okay? That's what a monomial is. It also means one term. So if you look, I put some examples here. This is an example of a monomial. This is an example of a monomial. This is an example of a monomial. Okay? A number, or the product of a number and a variable, or a number and multiple variables, but they're all connected by multiplication. Okay, monomial means one term. One term. Okay? Now when they talk about the degree of the monomial, it has to do with the exponents, okay? You take the sum of the exponents of the variables of the monomial. So here's a monomial, one term. Add up the exponents. This is understood to be 1. This is 2. 1 plus 2 is 3. The degree is 3. This one here, there's only one variable. The exponent is 2. Okay, so the degree is 2. So here I have an exponent of 2 and an exponent of 4, and 2 plus 4 is 6. So that's how you find the degree of a monomial. Okay? So then they talk about a polynomial. Okay, and a polynomial is like a general term, okay? It's a monomial, or the sum, okay, sum could be subtraction as well, of monomials. It's a general term, okay? All of these are polynomials, okay? They're all polynomials. And then they have you classify, okay? Then they have you classify this stuff, okay? So, and you classify it by the number of terms. So, a monomial is one term. A binomial is two terms, kind of like bicycle, two wheels, okay? Bi means two. And then a trinomial, tri means three terms. Okay, and these are all polynomials, and they don't really have any special names after trinomial. After that, you just call it a polynomial. Okay, there's nothing really that special about it. Now, when you want to find the degree of a polynomial, okay, the degree of a polynomial is the greatest degree of its terms. So let's say, I'm trying to save some paper here. You guys wouldn't believe the paper I go through in all 4 classes. Okay, so let's say I had this. Let's say I had x squared plus 7x plus 3. We find the degree of each of the monomials. The degree here is 0 because I have no variables. The degree here is 1. The degree here is 2. So the degree for the whole polynomial is the highest of those degrees of the monomials. So if they ask me here, my degree would be 2. Okay, because my choices were 2, 1, or 0. 2 is the biggest one. That's the degree of the entire polynomial. And then we have this thing that's called standard form. And this polynomial is in standard form. I like to think of standard form being written in order, where your highest exponent is on the left, and then your exponents descend, which means your exponents go down. Okay? Here's my highest exponent, and then there's my next highest exponent because it's 1, and then there's an exponent that's 0. Okay? So if I had this, 11x plus x cubed minus 10, that one's not in standard form because it's not written in the same order. Okay? This one is the highest exponent. That should go first. So I put my x cubed there, and then that has a variable, so that goes next, and your constant is always last. So I took the polynomial and I wrote it in standard form. Okay? Now, if I wanted the degree, I got to look at each of these terms and look at the degree. Normally the degree is the first term because you put it in order, you put it in standard form. So in this case, the degree is 3. So if they asked you for the degree there would be 3. Okay? All right. So let's say I had this. 12 minus x squared plus 4x. And I ask myself, is that in standard form? And I would quickly say, no, it's not in the right order. If it's in standard form, it's in the right order. I got to rearrange this so it is in standard form. So my negative x squared first, that negative belongs with the x squared. It has to stay with the x squared. And then next is going to be plus 4x, and then plus 12. So if they ask me for my degree is 2. If they ask me to classify it by the number of terms, how many terms do I have? 1, 2, 3. I have 3 terms, so that makes it a trinomial. Okay, and the last thing we're going to talk about is what's called the leading coefficient. Okay, and the leading coefficient is, once you put it in the correct standard form, it's the coefficient of the first term. So that's this one here. Okay, so the coefficient there would be -1. All right, so we're going to put all of that stuff together here. Okay, I'm going to put all of it together, and here we go. So we want it, this is your polynomial. This is scribble. I would use pencil, but I don't know if you guys could see it if it was pencil. So standard form means you put it in order, tell the degree, the leading coefficient, and then classify by the number of terms. So for this first one, the whole polynomial is just 7x. So when I put it in standard form, guess what? 7x. You can't put one term in a different order. Degree, my exponent there is understood to be 1. And then the leading coefficient, what number is there? 7. And then classify by the number of terms. How many terms do we have? Just 1. So that's a monomial. Okay? All right, standard form. Standard form, okay? So I've got to do that. Let's put this in order. Guess what? It's already in order. Degree. Degree is 2. Leading coefficient. What's the leading coefficient? Well, you look at your first term and take the coefficients. That's going to be 3. And then classify by the number of terms. How many terms do we have? 1, 2. So that's a binomial. So what I want you guys to do is I want you guys to pause the video and I want you to try this next one. Okay? Try this next one. Pause the video, give it a shot. Okay, so hopefully you paused the video. Let's put it in standard form. This part's got to go first. X squared followed by 3x minus 7. The degree is 2. And then the leading coefficient is the coefficient when it's in standard form, your first coefficient, that's going to be 1. And then classify by the number of terms, 1, 2, 3. Okay, so that's a trinomial. Okay? Next one. Trick question. That's not a polynomial. Okay? Because you have division. When you have division like that, it's not a polynomial. This could also be written as a negative exponent, so it's not a polynomial. So we don't have to do any of that when it's not a polynomial. Okay, but I do want you guys to try this one. This one is a polynomial. Okay, the pi's in there to try to confuse you, but hopefully it didn't confuse you. So pause it, give it a shot. Okay, so hopefully you guys pause that video. We take the highest exponent, that goes first. So this is going to be r to the fourth, and then it's going to be plus pi r squared, and then plus 2. Degree is 4. Leading coefficient there is 1. And how many terms? 1, 2, 3. Trinomial. Okay, you'll have more of these to practice, and I think you'll get it. I'm not really worried about that part. I think you guys will be good. So now what we're going to do is we're going to add polynomials. Okay, so adding polynomials. So we have to, another way to say that is like combining like terms. I could write it like this: 7x plus 4 plus 3x plus 5. Okay, now don't see the parentheses and automatically multiply. That's not what you do there. You follow what the operation says. It says add, so we add up our like terms. So I take 7x and 3x and I get 10x, and then I've got 4 plus 5, and that's going to be 9. So I get 10x plus 9. Okay? I could also have written that like this: 7x plus 4 plus 3x plus 5. I didn't need the parentheses. And then I'd say 7x and 3x is 10x. 4 and 5, 9. Same thing. Okay? Let's say I had this one: 3x squared minus 4x minus 1 plus 8x squared minus 9x plus 3. So let's add up our like terms. 3x squared and 8x squared. 3 plus 8 is 11, so I get 11x squared. And then negative 4x minus 9x. You lose 4, you lose 9 more, means you're down 13. And then negative 1 plus 3 is a positive 2. Okay, so I don't know. Let me give you guys one to try. Okay, so pause the video, pause it, and try it. See what you guys got. Today's music is brought to you by the Goo Goo Dolls. For those of you that would like to hear different music, all you have to do is send me an email. As long as the lyrics are clean, I'll play it. Played some pretty brutal stuff in the spring for people's opinion, but hey, everyone likes different things. So negative 4x squared plus 11x squared. Negative 4 plus 11 gives me a 7. Okay? Negative 7x minus 9x, you lose 7, you lose 9 more. Guess what? You're down 16. And then I've got 3 plus a negative 5, or 3 minus 5, and that's going to give me a negative 2. Okay? So let me give you guys one more to try. Okay, so if you wouldn't mind, please pause that video and give it a shot. Okay, so hopefully you paused the video. I'm going to add up our like terms here. 9x squared minus 4x squared is going to give me 5x squared. I don't have any x's here, but I've got negative 7 over there. I don't have anything to combine it with, so it stays negative 7x. And then negative 5 plus 11 is a plus 6. Okay, that's adding. You guys are like, we did this already. Yeah, but it's always good to review it. It's always good to take another look at it and make sure that it makes sense. Okay, so what we're going to do now is we are going to get into some subtraction. All right, so now we're going to do subtracting polynomials. And we'll do this quickly, and then I'll post the video, and then we'll be done for this. Okay, so subtracting polynomials, if I had 7x minus 5 minus 4x minus 6, we'll say. Okay, so the way we do this is the same way you did it with integers. If you had this, 4 minus 7. Now when you guys look at that, you guys can probably say in your head what the answer is. However, there was a time you had to do it by the rules when you were first learning. And the rule was you take the subtraction away and you add the opposite. Change the sign, okay, from subtraction to addition, and then you change the sign of the second number. So you would rewrite that as 4 plus a negative 7. And then you would say, okay, well, what's 4 plus a negative 7? And then you'd get a negative 3. Okay? But now when you see that, you've done it so many times. You've done it so many times over and over and over again. When you see 4 minus 7, your brain's already telling you, oh, that's negative 3. So with polynomials, the first one stays the same, 7x minus 5. And then this changes the sign of whatever's in that second parenthesis. So it's going to make that a negative 4x, and it's going to make it a plus 6. So now we add up our like terms. 7x minus 4x. 7x minus 4x is going to be 3x. Negative 5 plus 6 is a positive 1. Okay? Dogs are going nuts down there. I don't know what's going on. All right, so we got one here. Another subtraction problem. Rewrite your first one. 3x squared minus 8x plus 2. This makes this a negative 4x squared. This makes this a plus 8x. This makes this a minus 2. And now you combine your like terms. Okay? So 3x squared minus 4x squared. 3 minus 4 is a negative 1. And then I get negative 8x plus 8x. Guess what? Those cancel. I didn't even realize this when I made it. 2 minus 2, that cancels. So that is my answer. Okay? So I'm going to give you guys one to try. 3x squared minus 5x plus 2 minus 4x squared minus 9x plus 11. So there's your problem, okay? I want you guys to do it. So please pause the video, give it a shot. This will be our last problem of the day, and then you guys can go on and start your assignment. So I'm going to make it 3x squared minus 5x plus 2. This makes this a negative 4x squared and a plus 9x and a minus 11. 3x squared minus 4x squared is negative x squared. Negative 5x plus 9x is a plus 4x. And then 2 minus 11 is a negative 9. So there is my answer. If they ask you to classify it, you could say it's a trinomial. If they ask you for the degree, you could say it's 2 and the leading coefficient is negative 1. Okay, so I think that's enough. I think you guys will be good. I'm going to wish you luck on the assignment, and if you have questions, as always, send me an email and we will work it out.